Let's really pay attention to Zeno's reaction to hearing his boyfriend's waking up. Oh. Woo! Alright, so it's time for some more Dr. Stone. Make sure you leave a like. I want this video to get a minimum of 250 likes if you want to see the remainder of this season go on, or at least see the next video. 250 likes, like, comment, subscribe, Patreon for full live reactions. Either way, let's jump into this bad boy. Might be taken off to the moon. Maybe they aren't just joking around being boyfriends. Oh, you know what's fucking brilliant? This is just like when humanity watched the first rocket take off in black. The parallels of this. Oh, that's fucking beautiful. I like the respect they have for each other. It's not about trying to big dick the other. It's about who's ever most suited. Okay, okay. I mean, it's taken off. Anxiety inducing right now. Okay, that fucked with me. I thought it blew up. That fucked with me hard. Okay. We're good. The one thing I gotta say is I actually never thought this was gonna happen. Obviously, over the past dozen episodes or so, I knew it was gonna happen. But for a majority of Dr. Stone, even though I knew Senku wanted to go to the moon, I didn't think this was gonna happen. And if it did, I thought something that could be possible is eventually, after Earth reaches a certain point, he petrifies himself, and then, you know, in the future, he gets unpetrified so he could go to the moon. Something like that was always a possibility. But a lot of that assumption was before the final season did what it did with Stanley and everyone, right? Because where we were at technology-wise, if we were left to just the Stone Village and stuff like that, I didn't think something like this was possible, even with his expertise. And even though we had been building into this, even though we have humanity as a collective effort saying we are going to the moon, the best scientists and engineers the world can buy, it just still felt like a fool's hope. And even with liftoff, I thought to myself, it might not work. Seeing them petrified, there's always that fear, what if, you know, it malfunctions? You know how shitty it would be? The watches don't fucking work. The crazy thing, too, is, since they're in spacesuits, if those things malfunction, it's not like you could have an extra thing drop down on them, because, like, it's not gonna do shit, right? There's this fear. They have everything as planned out as they could. It took them years to do this. Crossed their T's, they dotted their I's. They planned as much as physically possible. But even with that, it felt like I was watching, for the first time, humanity take off to the moon. And I thought it was really clever how they had everyone watch, because obviously, humanity is spread across the globe now, right? So while some are in person watching this happen, most are watching through a black and white screen, just like how it was the first time. The big difference is, the first time we went to the moon, it wasn't trying to just stop some intergalactic evil from killing humanity. It was just for pure exploration. This was absolutely nerve-wracking. It was something that I felt like was earned. And I just thought the fact that he also, like, decided to give everyone parting gifts, some of it was useful for the actual mission, like computer screens, essentially. But, you know, the washing machine, the microwave, this kind of felt like a goodbye. This felt like it's entirely possible these characters will never see the three of them again. Will we? Hopefully, but it's not guaranteed. The only guarantee right now is we survived the initial launch. So in theory, we are in space and we're safe. That's good. But we still don't know what Y-Man is. We don't know what the threat of Y-Man is. Is Y-Man something that as soon as we get into a certain amount of space, there's fucking Medusas as far as the eye can see that will just destroy everything? I don't know. There's a lot we don't know. But even if it's for a brief moment, a week, we can take a sigh of relief knowing they made it. There's still, obviously, the threats we have to deal with. But the thing about Senku is, at least Senku himself, if he was to die up here, I think he would die happy, given the fact that he's now made it to space. Like, that was always his biggest dream since he was a child, right? The big thing that I can still insanely respect is the fact that our best boy, best captain, gave up his spot because of this right here. Stanley and Ryusei most likely are fairly on par with piloting. He even says that, like, hey, in terms of my skill as a pilot, I don't think I fall that short of you. And if that's all it was, we wouldn't be giving up our seat. But the guns. Not only is he struggling with guns with gravity, he's going to struggle even more with stuff like this. Whereas Stanley gets unpetrified, he's like, yeah, bitch, that shit's easy. The thing I love about this dynamic is, well, yes, I said it last week, there is a threat. There is a threat of reviving him. And if this was another core long, he would absolutely stab us in the back. And there's an easy way to write it. This concept of worrying that Zeno is held hostage, and even though he's saying one thing, he knows him better, he misreads the situation, or he thinks it's code, who knows? Or Zeno literally would just betray us. There is still a path forward for that. Now, with only a few episodes left, there was no way of doing it unless it was very quickly resolved, like we fucking shot him dead or something. But it was nice that he immediately was like, what's my orders, champs? And I can appreciate that. And I think what was very fun about his dynamic with Ryusei was how simple it was, but there's this moment where he's still training because even though this is now the new captain, if something was to happen to him, I don't want to be left, untrained. I need to train myself to the best of the ability, kind of being like a stand-in need be. And I think what's so interesting is watching him train, and there's this moment where after the crying, all the targets get hit very flawlessly, and you think, oh shit, maybe we can take him after all, and it's Stanley. And it's not Stanley stomping on his feelings, it's Stanley just saying, no man, like I am better suited for this. And I think the fact that they had that respect for each other, it was a case of, yeah, I absolutely want to go. This has become my dream, but my dreams do not matter in the same degree of making this mission succeed. And it's entirely possible we won't need a sharpshooter in space, but it's better to have a captain who is as talented of a pilot as he is, who is also a sharpshooter in space. Incredibly powerful. I mean, the dynamics of everything, tying back to Taiju and wanting his computer and how happy he was, it did feel like the final Christmas, though. I am mentally preparing myself that Senku and them do not make it home. I do think they succeed in their mission, but the mission does not include coming back home. That is just a bonus. The microwave, the washing machine, everything he made for them as like one final hurrah, plastic wrap, like all these little things that will go a long way. I hope they do. I really, really hope they do make it back, but I am mentally preparing myself that they don't. I never thought we'd see the day where Dr. Stone would actually make it to space, and even though this is what we've been building into the entire time with the final season, it still felt like there's no way, right? Like, there's just no way. And I'm sure some people will nitpick, certain things went fast. Yeah, in a perfect world, I think I would have preferred another 12 episodes on top of what we got just to see some more of how they made certain things. But even without that, I don't think it was a issue. It was just something I would have liked to see more of. The thing is they didn't do this over a couple of months. It took them months and months and months to the point it became years and years, right? This wasn't something that happened overnight, and we had the most talented people possible making everything a reality. We've had many seasons showing how they build things from step 1 all the way to step 1000. We can trust that this was thought out, right? Especially because they had how many failures? It wasn't like they just built one rocket. They had dozens, I believe, or close to it, of failures and, years of trying to make this trial and error. Let me know your thoughts down below. What did you think of this episode, and how excited are you for next week? Like I said, at least 250 likes on this video help it do well enough for another video next week. I'm watching you. Patreon for live reactions over there and other exclusives. Like, hey, love to give those video shows so my patrons make it all possible over here on YouTube. Alright, so today we got Jimmy Carroll, Thomas Fern, Holmes, 1000CH, Cody Tiffany, Enduk, Catherine, BioZero, Scully Rakasa, New Richard, and we also have Furious the Hip Hop. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care. Have a good one.